Carry away.
We need to see the laptop. I can't see you.
I'm pulling back again tonight. Stand by. Stand by.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the show.
Good evening, guys.
I think you guys should know us by now, but just in case this is your first time tuning in, I'm Jolanda.
Ayana.
Sakyan.
Alistair.
Me, welcome to the show. We ain't see the light.
Here's a black world.
I hate him. I see me eyes for. The eyes are the windows to your soul. Shut your window.
So guys, we're back again with some fresh, hotter topics this week. Just the hot topics in general. And to get the ball rolling, Ayana will introduce the first topic for us.
Hi. So we've had a few incidents that happened this week, and it kind of triggered us to talk on activism and how activism is portrayed in St. Kitts and Nevis. And so our first topic is basically activism. What is activism? And the definition that we have here is the policy or action of using vigorous campaigning to bring about political or social change. So my question to you and all the viewers out there is, how effective is activism? Do you guys think that what do you think is the best way to go about activism? What do you think? Do you think you guys should protest? Do you think they should rally? Yes, I've already read it.
So, mine a hiccup.
Sorry, but the projector was asking me something. I'm just like, yo, do you want me to reread it? For those of you who missed what the definition was. Activism. The definition of activism is the policy or action of using vigorous campaigning to bring about political or social change. And sometimes we're in an environment where we are very uncomfortable with the setting, we are very uncomfortable with the policies, we are very uncomfortable with the regulations that they have in place, and we don't know how to go about saying, hey, this needs changing. What do you think is the best effective way to bring across that point?
I mean, to be honest, I feel it comes down to the sorry, I went on the YouTube to check the comments. I apologize. I feel like the comments from the viewers.
Hey, tonight gonna be a good measure. I don't feel it coming.
I feel like
tonight gonna be good.
speaking up comes down to the individual. If let's say Ayana has a problem with the way a business is operating, she might feel, she's not a vocal person, so she might feel more comfortable drafting a letter, sending it to the board. Me now, I might be a more outgoing person, more of an extrovert, and it's like, listen here, when drafting a letter, let me go straight to
the chairman or the head. Not
really just a chairman, but let me go straight to a protest. I might say let me go straight to a protest. But I guess it goes back to just comparing the two. I feel as though we should adopt the more logical approach first, which is going to the heads of whatever you may have the issue with. Even if it's a situation of a letter or whatever, just address them properly. Head for head, like, you can't say you came at me that way, the wrong way, and that's why you got that reaction. Address me properly, and based on how you approach them, and your needs or satisfactions are not met, then that's when you could go into the whole idea of, okay, let me stage a protest.
Before we move on, do you think the most effective way is to bring it to the public's eyes?
If the problem is not dealt with, yeah, because I feel as though any administration, to be honest, feels the pressure when they're under the public, in front of the public's attention, and that's why you find a lot of the times when situations are not dealt with properly, a lot of people take the problems to the media and to the public.
But a lot of people skip that step. as in going to administration, some of them just go straight to the public
to the public
and expect change to come about.
So my question to the panel is extreme activism and moderate activism.
Moderate.
Well, who determines
by moderate
what is
meaning
extreme?
that if we are, for whatever example, saying that we are in TDC today and we experienced some negative business in terms of how we were dealt with, in terms of customer service, then I think that that can be easily dealt with by a senior supervisor or somebody who is a senior officer to try to make that negative into a positive, and then if it's not addressed, then you could always escalate the matter to maybe to the chairman or the manager, and you start to go up the protocol if you felt like justice wasn't achieved, rather than just kind of jumping from I had a bad experience, so let me go to social media and basically trash the name or slander the name of an institution or business place by one bad experience. I think that's where the two options have to be weighed.
But before we continue, I know we're live on Facebook and on YouTube, but just a reminder, if you want your comment to be seen or heard, comment on the YouTube. Head over to YouTube and comment, because that's what I'm viewing. That's what I'm viewing right now.
And the channel is theshow.kn. So you can find us on Instagram, you can find us on Facebook, you can find us on YouTube. But as Yolanda said, if you guys want your comments to be addressed, or you want us to see it, or you want to hear your opinion, go over onto YouTube and we will be sure to reply to those comments. But as Alistair was saying, I 100% agree with what you said, and I want to ask also if you guys think that we are in a society where if you stand up for what you believe in, if you go to your superior, whether it's your supervisor or your manager, and you say, I don't like this, do you think we live in a society where that is seen as being insubordinate?
Standing up to your support,
just
your
addressing something like, hey, I don't like the fact that I'm working.
Then again, it's how,
It's how you address it, but
I
even
think so.
sometimes it's, even when you address it, how you address it, the automatic, even your parents.
You got a lot to
Sometimes you come to your parents and you say certain things and they don't like it, and
because they feel as though you
as
belong in this role and you should just adhere to that role.
Some parents are
and
a
don't
robot,
step outside the line.
So even your parents, you see it
Literally.
as coming off as insubordinate, and a lot of people don't feel
The comfort level is there.
they don't feel the urge to step up because they don't want to overstep the boundary. But you have in your way to speak up and speak out.
To be
And
in
there's
the
a-
environment regardless of where you are.
There's a famous quote that I actually like, which is called, always stand for something or fall for anything.
Fall for anything.
So for me, again, it goes back to the comment that I made earlier, which is, you tackle it, but you have to choose. It's not what you do, it's how you do it.
How you
It's
do
not what you say, it's how you say it.
Same thing,
And
activism.
I'm not saying that you might not get the feedback or the response that you want at that time, but what I'm saying is that sometimes you could have that conversation and say, this happened a week ago, I didn't like it, and this is going to be a problem, and if not, then you start to escalate the matter rather than jump into social media and then kind of creating that slander and all that, and then that in itself causes a breakdown between the environment, especially if it's a working environment, or in terms of getting a possible positive outcome from a situation.
Sakian has something to say.
So you feel like, say if activism on a whole, well, depending on your approach, is effective, especially in a society like Sankis?
No.
Because as
It
I
can be
understand, you
received.
come off as you
It's
being
insubordinate.
subordinate. Exactly.
It comes off as you being either rude, you're being, and I mean, a lot of persons don't know how to communicate, and that is also an issue. So their way of communicating what is an issue for them might come off to you as being, well, who hitting Kibi?
Say one, say two, Some people know to communicate, but some people can't understand.
Honestly,
some
it might
people have problems with
have to do with
decoding.
the leadership style of the individual.
Right.
If
But we're not only even talking about.
no, but I mean,
in
if
a
you're
job,
more autocratic, then that's where a situation where you're more open to discussion, you're more open to change. You include you start, let's say we're talking about a business.
Autocratic.
It's
means-
democratic, you mean?
Democratic.
No, you got another
No,
one.
autocratic is
Autocratic is when you're straight.
Autocratic is strict.
strict, yeah.
No, and then you got another one.
Laissez-faire is when
You
the
know,
people do
laissez-faire
what
is when
they
you're
want.
laid back and lazy.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Dictatorship is like, you know, when it's
You
all
give
about
an
you.
ultimatum.
You just give in.
And then you got bureaucratic.
Is the same
I know what I'm saying. Not autocratic. I think I mixed up the autocratic with another word.
Bureaucratic is
No.
what you mean. Bureaucratic is more
When they follow the book.
functional.
Yeah.
No.
Is a
It's more like
functional
policies
thing.
and stuff.
In the bureaucratic, I mean.
You mean
What?
that they
She mean? What she mean?
democratic, which means
I
that
don't
they're
know.
more easier to assess and understand and
Yeah.
and hear you out.
I think I mixed the word, but essentially, I was talking about the more leadership style that's more open to suggestions. We actually have those
Democratic.
leaders here. So I feel as though it may depend on the leadership style of the individual.
I saw,
I mean, who might be more open
But
to
more
hearing
people would
suggestions.
prefer a robot.
I
As
saw-
I like to say, even the parents them, they just want you to come, make sure the house clean or whatever. Like they want you to fit their standard without even considering yours.
It's true.
As
The
in
moment you tell
considering what
your
you gotta
mother,
do.
the moment you tell your mother or your father, like, hey, I had 2 exams and I had to study.
Yeah,
they want to hear
exactly,
that. They
yeah.
want to hear why you ain't wash up the dishes. And in the moment you gotta say, well, it's because, and then they completely shut you out.
It's like
And I
ain't
think-
valid. Your reasoning ain't
Yeah,
valid.
and I think
Yeah.
from that, as a child, socialization again plays a big part, because that way you're not really enabled to vocalize how you feel, because you're already chastised for even speaking up and speaking out. You know, and I think that a lot of people in St. Kitts and Nevis, there's a lot of things that we see happening in St. Kitts and Nevis, but we're not vocal about it. We're not able
you
to
said that.
stand up and stand out and be
glad
an
you said that.
activist for a particular thing that we don't like. I am very vocal about certain things that I don't like, and a lot of people may not agree, but that doesn't change how I feel
But to
about
what extent
it.
do you take your vocality though?
I don't go out on the streets and protest.
No, we're not really protesting, but certain things that you are bothered by. Have you ever felt the need, or have you ever done anything about it besides just maybe speaking to a colleague or
I
a friend?
have on a small scale, but it's not enough to make a change, and I'm going to admit to that. I have spoken, like, customer service is one thing. I don't like customer service, and I speak up and I speak out about it. I speak to a manager, I speak to the person directly, and be very vocal. No, I'm serious. I've been very vocal about it. Or like something, I order something off a Best Buy, and they let me think, and I'm like, can I speak to a supervisor or manager, because, like, you know, those things, because people just take it for granted, and you are afforded that right to speak up. You could be wrong, but you are afforded that right to say and act in what you believe in.
Okay. So you guys ready for the first example? The first
ready.
example of protest.
Let's
Before we
start
go
with something,
forward,
but-
you have something to say? Before we go forward, you know, I like to Google, and I confused the word with autocratic for real. I just needed to confirm.
We told you.
So,
That what happen when you're child. I like child.
okay, Sakyam. So the first example we have of a recent protest on the island is the bus strike. The bus drivers strike crossed by the East Line bus terminal. So there was an article posted on the Labour spokesman, and it basically, the reason for the bus strike was due to the fact that it is against the law for bus drivers, when they're driving up the road, on the main road, etc., to pick up passengers. They were supposed to wait until they get to the bus terminal to load passengers and then head to the country. However, some bus drivers were doing that, accepting passengers while on the road, and as a result, the ones who were actually abiding by the law actually waited in the terminal, and they therefore passed 3 hours waiting, not having any passengers, because the ones who are not abiding by the law are taking all the passengers on the main road. And so the ones who are actually abiding by the law are now frustrated because the situation where they're losing, the article mentioned, you know, and it's true, they have their mortgages, because that's their way of life. They have their mortgages, they have, you want to pay the taxes, you want all the different responsibilities you could think of, and they're left at a disadvantage because they are the ones following the law. So they had this strike, and this strike actually came after a series of meetings, and in the end of the article it wasn't made entirely clear if it happened before, but I think it happened after. After the last strike, they had the association of the bus drivers met with some members of cabinet, and they said that they basically, I guess they felt some sort of enlightenment based on the conversation. It was basically saying that they would have the police officers be more strict on the ticketing of the bus drivers who are picking up the passengers on the side of the road. And there's also a problem with the East Line bus terminal right now that needs to be fixed, so they're going to find an alternate location for the bus drivers to accept passengers in the meanwhile. So that's essentially what the article said. It seemed as though they got some sort of resolution. As I said, it seemed like based on the end, it seemed as though that was the resolution. I don't think it happened before, but that's what I gathered. So guys,
that was a mouthful.
That is a mouthful, but I mean,
so in summary of the summary that you just tried to say,
I summarized it.
In summation of the summation.
in the summation.
My question,
you are saying that the bus drivers,
they had
there were some that who pick up on the side of the road and some who actually waiting in the bus terminal. And these people who wait in the bus terminal protested against what?
I feel, were you repeating it?
No, because
it
was a mouthful. It was a mouthful.
Okay.
Ain't gonna lie.
Okay, it was a mouthful. I guess because I tried to sum up everything so you couldn't know what the article said.
Sum up at tape.
Somebody summed it up. Why you were protesting? You didn't get the way the
because some were disenfranchised.
Yes. Okay.
Wow,
so
Sakian. Wow, Sakian.
So what is the question now?
So my question now, this just bring the whole idea of activism and what's not taking an example of a protest that took place. So the question to you guys now is,
was their protest effective?
I mean, basically what he said, it was effective basically.
Media. I think I saw the live from Yaniro's page where he was actually blocked in the bus stop
while trying to exit.
Were lined up on the main road and he couldn't get out. Right? He couldn't get out, and he was there for quite some time. And what was I gonna say? He was there for quite some time. But after the live, I saw that the bus people were actually getting ticketed. You know, because they're not supposed to park on the main road. So, do you guys think that was an effective way to bring about change?
No.
What do you think they should have done though? I mean, the bus stop has been built since 2018.
I mean,
and they're frustrated. They're saying that people are abusing the system, and I am at a loss.
I mean, I want to hear. Well, let's say he said no, he doesn't think that was an effective way to create change. I want to hear that, and then I'll chime in.
Okay.
Chime in. Yes, I said.
So let me catch the Kayana, right? So people do crimes every day. So because everybody do crimes and some people get away with it, that means we won't all go ahead and do crimes?
No.
No, I mean, she asked if that was the
well,
I said that to say that we can't just condone the
illegality.
Correct.
But she
and
said
that does not also
the legality.
Were you asking if it was wrong, the protest in general?
The way they went about.
I don't think the approach was the right approach. I think that there is to the best of my knowledge, there's a board for the buses and stuff like that, and they should have raised it that way. And then at least give it an option to be addressed within a timely manner before you just take.
Well, no, I feel like before you're gone, the article answers that statement. I really gave you a mouthful because you guys clearly wasn't listening to me. They have spoken to the president of the board have spoken to one of the ministers already. The article actually named the name of the minister. So they tried that approach before they went into protesting,
and nothing changed.
And nothing changed. So that's the
so then we can condone and support them going to the next best option.
Yeah, and I mean, it's left to see if it's really enforced, but I would say it was successful in a sense that they felt some enlightenment based on the conversation they had. The only how we know if it's going to really be a success is if these bus drivers are really ticketed when they break the law in the future. So now it's really to just observe if change really occurs.
It helped because it brought light to the situation. And I think when you're protesting, it is to bring light to the public of the situation that is at hand. And the fact that they lined up and this situation happened, we all know about it. We are able to sit here on this couch and talk about the fact that this situation has been happening since 2018. Nothing is coming about, and we're here to talk about it and actually spread the word about it. Even though that even though it might be an illegal way of going
about conducting business, correct?
Even the riots in America when George Floyd was thing, when they did the storm,
the looting and stuff like that.
I mean, the whole world knew about this situation. You know, so I'm not saying that protesting should be illegal, but I'm saying that.
But even so,
if it is that you have to protest.
Do you guys feel as though, being that the onus is on the bus driver, do you guys feel as though the passengers who actually try to flag them down and get on the bus
are just as bad?
Well, no, they're definitely just as bad because they're not supposed to do it. But do you guys think the passengers as well as the bus driver should be ticketed? I mean, that's
a strong thing.
But you can flag the bus. I mean, the bus must stop.
Correct. I think a lot of the responsibility lies.
But even with the protest, sorry to cut you off, let's stop. But even with the protest, you're watching you don't know what's happening, and you're watching the line of buses park up there or whatever. What? I look cute, boy. But yeah, you watch the line of buses them there, right? So you stand like somebody that ain't really know what's going on. You see the line of buses them. They're gonna gain information on what's going on. So I feel like the protest, right? Okay. The protest should show you more information.
You know the bus them on strike, so you wanna what?
But you gotta go look news.
But at the same time,
more news.
But at the same time, Sakian, the onus of the passenger is on getting home. So the reality is that by them being on strike, it also affects their situation in terms of getting home.
Yeah. Sure,
you know what I mean? So for example, let's say that afternoon we all finish work 4 o'clock and we are walking up there to catch a 4 o'clock or 4:05 bus. And now all of a sudden we can't get home till 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock because of this protest or however long it lasts. It still changes the dynamics.
But what I show you, what I mean is like, Alistair, that the protest should give some sort of information on what's going on. Like the buses were just there parked up. Nobody had no sign saying
no plaque.
Yeah, like they could have got like something
to be more informative.
Exactly. So they could have notified people at the protest, be like, okay, the bus is gonna be there protesting at this time, whatever to this time. And this is where we protest. I feel like it should have got more.
So you're saying it wasn't effective?
It was informative.
To the public to know what's happening.
To know what's happening.
I mean,
because the point
I will also add to what.
Just check the news articles and you went on the Labour spokesman and you were
we're here all of day, Gardo.
He said on the day the protest is happening.
So we need to be some
Exactly.
I would have liked to know what's happening.
Because people just see.
I will also add to what Sakian said, right? And I know from a health standpoint, the buses were one of those associations or business models in society that actually got a 40% reduction in salary due to the limitation of the amount of persons that they can carry, which also still plays a major role when you have a brand new bus that you're paying for, you have mortgage, like Ayana said, and all these other factors. And then it's still like, I'm trying to work with the protocol and work with the program, and then all of a sudden other persons there basically winging and cheating the system that's supposed to help all of us to balance.
But look at this now. Who doing it? Your fellow bus driver, innit? Your friend. So you gonna go snitch on your friend? And then they call you 6'9", and then they tell you a fraud, you're gonna go return me? Because I do it.
Like 0 to 100.
You see what I mean? So it's like when you really do it, you're gonna get chance time. And that the same thing happened with me, But when my time come, I talk.
Okay, and we getting into history, but I want to read a comment. So Shayla, she said she actually disagrees with the panel, I would say, because she says I think there's a way to do things. Well, not really disagrees, but I think they acted ignorantly when it came to the protest. They shouldn't have blocked the exit. So that's Shayla's input, and she said, I do understand their, however, I do understand their frustration. We have
Are you friend? You're not friend.
But
it's a viewer.
Any friend of them one? I don't.
I think it's very good that our friend supporters just saying.
Me against it.
I think we could jump into the other hot protest of that happened in the recent times.
On the topic of
protesting. I'll allow Sakian to give us
a video to play.
Do we have a video?
Yeah, we have a
video. Okay, so we're gonna play the video first. And then Sakian will brief us, as you know, has a little bit more
College.
inside information.
Youth.
Call me youth. Okay.
Several students at the Clarence Fitzroy Brand College held a protest at the college on 12 February with claims that the CFBC president has suspended a student without reason. According to the students, CFBC President Dr. Jacqueline Austin suspended a student without just cause and fired a staff assistant in the student body elections campaigns.
The president has been doing what she wanted. She actually fired a person who was voting for, campaigning for us. On Monday or Tuesday, she actually suspended my cousin because he stood up and talked to her, and also she didn't file accusation versus a friend of us. Or was that Miss Fox?
The student president said a letter of complaint was sent to the CFBC board, but they had received no response. When SK Newsline contacted CFBC President Dr. Jacqueline Austin regarding the claims of the student protesters, her only response was that the matter will be investigated. At the start of the protest, a CFBC official who refused to identify himself unsuccessfully attempted to remove the students from the campus. Glenn Bart, SK Newsline.
And we're back. Yeah man, we're back. So the whole thing what's going on at CFBC, it started way back in 2020 after my team. Yeah, they bring it over to the new year. But I think this what do you want to call it, animosity started around the SGA elections, Student Government Association, where I won for president and on the team stiff, students in full force. And during the whole yeah, we stiff. Man, we're not done.
No, go ahead.
So yeah, so during this whole election process, my team and I, we recognized some irregularities, meaning some things that wasn't in alignment with the constitution that governs the SGA. So as we have the right to, we highlighted some of these irregularities. One of the irregularities being interference from a member of staff in the whole election process. Because I mean, you being a member of staff directly associated with student services during the whole election process, you should remain
involved in it.
Exactly. The most you should do is be a facilitator.
Right.
But you can't go out and actively campaign for a particular party.
You have to be neutral.
That alone, you can't tell me I'm talking more money.
No, you didn't talk about
exactly.
You should be neutral.
So the fact that we highlight that, people see me as 6'9". People call me and my team latter, whatever we lie, XYZ. And I mean, it was apparent that this member of staff was going out and campaigning for the other party, and that in itself is wrong. And I mean, the problem, a lot of things happen in St. Kitts, as Ayana said, that we should talk about, but we normalize it. Everybody know what is really gone, the bad stuff.
Yeah,
but people nobody gonna come out. I actually ain't gonna be vocal, and I be vocal the right way. Because it's only recently we posted something, we being Team Stiff posted an article on social media. We skipped that, we follow the chain. First we send an email to the president of the college, and then after the president forward whatever to the board or whatever. This is the article that we posted actually. It's a bit lengthy, so we just leave it up for a while and you take your time and read it. But it's basically saying on the grounds that we contest the results, as in the interference, and then okay. What happened was, Jolando.
Before you go forward, right? Just in case the audience has the wrong idea, I just wanted to make clear that he's on the board, not board. He's a part of the party,
He's the
a part of the student body government for the opposing
Yes, exactly.
party. So the protest that you just saw, that is not the student body government that he is aligned with.
Exactly.
He's aligned with the other one.
Okay.
So in case you're thinking that that's their argument, it's not. It's the other party's argument. We'll jump into that after.
Exactly. So I'm just giving thanks for that, Jolando. And okay, during the whole election process, the first thing that the constitutions will in after you outline the process basically is that the candidates that want to vie for a position should register fortnight days before the election day. You understand? A member of the next team, right, that was there protesting, didn't register 14 days before the election day. So that in itself, how they could run for
So why were they allowed to,
exactly
to register
so
anyways?
that he mentioned the direct in the interview just now, they mentioned the director of student services, Ms. Fox, that allowed him to run after he didn't make the 2 weeks deadline basically. So that in itself was an issue, and we highlighted that. Anybody say anything I do wrong yet?
No.
I will merely exercise the right, because every student got a right to contest or to voice their opinion on any matter.
And if you find it wrong, speak up.
Speak up. Speak up. So it's like, that come to the question now, like, people shutting down activism like all the time. It's like you try to sound your voice and like people gonna quiet you down, people gonna be against you. So it's like, it kind of discouraging in a society like this, because I think it's so small, you can't, somebody can't, and I'm here in town, you need samples, you need you try, so it's like you can't get away. It's like, and my name defamed, because in the articles they posted on the dog's CFBC page, defame my name and my party name, so people that really doesn't know, the first thing come to their mind was, oh well, these stiff people doing what they want or whatever, the president doing what she want.
But why would they say that? Why would they say that you doing what you want? What transpired for them to say that?
I mean, it's
Is
always
you're speaking up for what you
exactly,
want?
exactly. Nobody like law enforcement, eh?
Nobody like law enforcement.
Nobody like law enforcement. I mean, me saying law enforcement don't shoot me sometimes, but it's like the main reason because people ain't like nobody. Exactly.
No
one likes to.
I know you're not aligned with the party for dog CFBC. What do you really do about the party? Anyway.
Bets.
Mets?
Bets.
Okay. I know you're not aligned with the party who showed on the protest video. But did they take any other sort of any other course of action in terms of
not to my knowledge, you know,
or they went straight to the
they
protest?
skip the
you see, you know what you did, you
exactly.
know, you went and you
sent
spoke and you sent your email and your letter. Did they go straight to the protest, or
well,
did they address it
before
in any
anything,
other way?
the first thing they did was created this fake Facebook page and then posted the videos. So that's the first thing.
Didn't have an grievance.
We didn't have no email was sent to neither my team to say they got some grievance against us, or even the president after speaking with her, because I asked her and she said no email was sent to
real
her.
quick. So I guess victimization is a real thing at the college. Is this what people with little bit of power and authority do to people who are below them?
Yeah, they're going to have grammatical errors.
Am I tired of hearing that this president is doing at CBC? So Jadel Fentis, the student in the video, is circulating what was asked to stay home and not come to school. Moving on, let's see how it goes when the students don't show up for classes. Let's see how great the status would look in the news. So what are they protesting against?
What had happened was, during my tenure as vice president, because I was vice president for a year, and in the same party, we worked with administration to build, everybody here went CFBC, right?
Yeah.
To fix up the study room. So now the study room look like a study lounge. You got in couches, AC.
Oh, nice.
And
that's something upstairs, right?
No, downstairs, right there next to the common room.
So they got the hall to go outside in the parking lot and the opposite.
And it will be on the right if you're coming up the steps.
Yeah.
Not up the steps, downstairs.
But you said on the right, like it
That's when you yes, so it should be like the what do you used to call it? The commons.
But next to the common room.
Okay.
Not the room, not the common room, but it's next to the common room.
Correct. And then there was a cafeteria close after.
Exactly. So they're fixed up in there, but ain't open as yet. So what happened was some students who were in there and they didn't have on the mask or whatever, and then the guard saw them and went to deal with the matter, right? And then the president at the college probably saw what was happening or whatever, and then she went go deal with the situation basically. Firstly, India is not open, so from time
be in there.
So from time in there you don't know.
Yeah.
So from if they tell you must come out or whatever, why is a whole argument? Why is a discussion? It's not open, leave.
Yeah.
That's it. And they say, the president is using her power incorrectly and all that. So it's
him being asked to leave, the response was
negative.
Was all of this? You saw the
protest and argument.
Yo.
Not just acting what happened.
Literally.
It was a snowball.
It was
a snowball.
Really don't deserve all this hype. And even the news line them. They reporting on the wrong set of things up CFBC, because a lot of other things happening and they reporting that. They want to go up to see 5 children, let me say 10 max.
Oh Lord.
10 children protesting out of
But
the
that's
1,000.
what gonna happen when everybody stop gum glasses?
So you feel
10 people protesting, 1,000 people that's go CFBC, almost 1,000.
based on the other issues that you feel that they should actually protest about, you feel you're at liberty to say or no? No, I mean not based on whatever, but just in general. You said that.
But
yeah,
it
other
doesn't have to
things.
be specific.
No,
but
I mean just mean in general. Like I would like to know.
He had a lot of things prior to especially before my tenure as vice president, because we did a lot actually, and our team represented the students fairly well, I might say. I must say. But is issues like, okay, he had this policy, right, where you needed 8 units to get an associate's degree. Right? They changed that.
Oh really?
They changed it when you was registering for your subjects this year. They tell you sign this form to say you agree, or you know that you need 10 units now to get your
10.
associates.
Okay.
Something you didn't even know about that.
No.
And that's literally why we got in CFBC.
Yeah.
But the news reporters them in posting up this
Yesterday,
year, and this year affecting every student, every student in ASGS especially. So like, where they be for that deal?
Yeah.
But 10 students out there with a sign that ain't got nothing about anything, just saying, frig the system, we're gonna talk because we have.
Just to clarify too, I heard that someone got suspended indefinitely in the protest.
Because the person that was in the that was resisting to come out the study room, he probably got suspended.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I didn't see any official document to say he gets suspended. So it could be hearsay, but that is what was said. So we're going to just base off of that.
So we got a whole mouthful.
It's a whole bunch. It's a whole bunch.
There's a protest from Sakian's side where he had to clarify it as the opposition, where he's standing up for his right and saying, yo, these people should not be allowed to even be an opposition,
Exactly.
because they registered late, and he took it up to the higher powers, and he also went to social media, and there's also the other party now who's protesting, saying like, yo, CFBC doing a lot of shit, dog. How effective is activism?
Exactly.
How effective do you think the situation is?
I feel like the conversation goes back to the beginning when we were speaking about the channels you take, whether or not you'll take a more passive approach before you take a more active extreme approach. And in this situation, honestly, based on what Sakian said, taking the more passive approach and his voice is actually being heard, it makes me wonder before the other students took it to the media in such a manner, if they actually took that approach,
the situation would have
it
a
makes
better
me
outcome.
wonder
You know, my approach was
if they would have been listened to.
Y'all realize that the news article ain't even had the Sakians
This side of the story.
Exactly.
Correct.
They only had that side of the story, so that goes.
And you know what's gonna happen? People gonna stay here and then say, "Oh, you're biased towards me."
No way.
And that's the same thing what happened with the president.
First of
Logic.
First of all, I want to applaud you on your approach in dealing with the matter.
Respect,
And I want to applaud you on adapting the protocol and also knowing and selecting the appropriate channel and how you went about it. I think it really, really deserves an applaud, because I think that it could have been dealt with a lot different, and if they had adapted your style of dealing with it, the whole outcome of that whole situation
It would have been a lot. You know, there is no SGA right now.
But not only that,
Because of the contestation and the results, no one is represented.
we also spoke
on the
about
board.
how you act is based on the reaction you get, and based on what you said, based on the gentleman's disrespect towards the principal,
The president, yeah.
the president,
We're a primary school teacher, right? We're a primary school teacher.
the president, based on how his action and her reaction, like it's just natural that he would have been met with
Fight down.
Hostility.
not fight down, but that sort of
hostility.
No, I mean from the president. Remember, I don't know if he was suspended.
But
But remember, that was the end result. I'm saying is that if it was more of a situation where, you know, okay, let's leave.
Nobody would have get suspended.
Which is why it caused the situation to escalate based on his approach.
Yeah, and
his or her approach.
It goes back to us thinking about our approach before
how we do things.
Like we have to really think about our course of action, and then we implement it.
As young people, we should definitely use the various channels if we want change.
Effectively.
Effective change. I mean, there is I don't think there ever been a time where there is no representative for the SJ now in March.
Yeah.
And not just in the SJ or not just in the college, but generally, there's a lot of things in terms of how you go about things.
Exactly.
And going about it the way we can have a...
So you take the chain of command, and if that doesn't work, then yes, you take it.
Then you escalate it.
Of course, you have to escalate it.
Yeah, as Asaki was saying, he think that the young people should take the right channels, but sometimes it could very well be unawareness or lack of education.
Not in this era, Jolando. I beg to differ.
Admittedly,
with technology,
what I'm saying is that
you ain't got no excuse.
I'm saying is that
no excuse.
maybe it is that maybe they were not. Look, even though they ran for student by the government, you took the time to go and learn
the Constitution.
You
took
the time to learn the Constitution, so you could have known that there was a loophole in what transpired. But if the other party themselves, that's why I said it takes time for you to go out and
Jolando, we live in an information era.
That's what I'm saying.
And I'm supporting you, but I'm just saying that we live in an information era where you can conduct your own research. Everybody walks around right now in this world with a smartphone, and you have some level of internet access that you do your research before you make calculated risk and calculated decision before you get up and just
in the same video with the Newsline, you know, he said the director of services is his friend. Yeah, you hear that? As in the person that policing.
He mentioned his cousin. How do you do that?
So it's like he said the director of student services is his friend. And Shane, and he wants to say the director of student services couldn't be like, oh boy, you can't register. The director of student services couldn't have been farming on the Constitution.
You want the opposition?
Yeah, that's the president for Team Bets.
So we have a comment.
Sheila?
It says, so Sheila, she says, the louder you get, the more of an impact you make. And she said they may be uninformed for true. And that's what I was saying. It's not a situation where
Jolando, every election, the director of student services, when they send out the email to register for the position, they send the Constitution
and the guidelines.
I'm not disputing that, you know. I'm not even condoning it. I'm saying all of this is based on them choosing not to be informed.
Exactly.
So what I'm saying is that you took the time to read the Constitution. I highly doubt that was done on their part. So I'm saying before you yourself go out and say, okay, well, I'm gonna get loud, I'm gonna be active, I'm gonna protest.
You have to make
really be logical, do research, be involved, and then you push forward.
Even so, right?
And also to consult, ask a question, or the person would have gone around and passed through this system. I mean, 9 times out of 10 in Saint society, you have all the cousins who have passed through there, or you know somebody who would have advised you. The professors who work at the college would have been able to say, no, if you're going about it that way, then that won't get the positive impact or that kind of result that you're expecting.
That's crazy to see that the young people are protesting. I'm happy to see that there's a protest.
That's great.
But
the approach is wrong.
You have to do your research. You have to know what
before you carry anything to the public.
You have to understand where you are coming from. You have to weigh the pros and the cons and say, okay, this is something for me to go out, wait on a placard and go out.
I'm gonna take a little up a scale, right? It's just like the general election here in St. Kitts. We have the Constitution, right? You have these certain things. When you hear like even the Prime Minister, the former Prime Minister, and these persons in society talking about certain topics, it's because they're versed on the rules.
Exactly.
And that is why they can highlight it. Even to this week, they were in Parliament and they spoke about different things. But if you're not versed and you're not aware, then you can't talk.
Exactly.
You know,
so I could say exactly what the Constitution said there. With the register 2 weeks before, you know, Section 8, Article 4 of the Constitution. Literally. It's craziness. It's craziness for you. I don't understand why all of this happening.
And it's a big thing, and it's sad to say that this is what is making the news.
This is what making
This is
the
the
news.
side.
Exactly.
This is the side of the story that is making the news.
They ain't talking about how students up the college overwhelmed with work. They ain't talking about how some lecturers up the college being lack of leniency. They ain't talking about how some students got real hard financially. They ain't talking about sometimes the library don't have enough computers, so must get funding
But
for
they're
some
talking
computer.
about me
But they're
cousin.
talking about
Me cousin get
that's
fired.
I don't understand. People so like propaganda and
Cousin,
stupidness.
like, get fired.
And that's why my article didn't make it to a proper news, a big international or local news. But I show you because people like propaganda, people like in the article they got some grammatical errors. It's like I should have put some in mine so I could get some clout.
Just tell us that you want a street setting. Got you. Moving on to the next topic.
Yeah, we gotta move on.
Moving on.
Yeah.
We have one more topic for the night. I hope you guys are paying attention. I hope you guys comment, leave y'all opinions.
So the second topic, which is closely aligned to the first one of activism, Alesta will take it away.
The second topic this evening we're going to be talking about is public relations. I'm just going to draw the reference to what public relations mean. Public relations is the professional maintenance of a favorable public image by a company or other organization or a famous person. Right? That's it. Yes. As it reads on the screen, public relations is a strategic communication process that builds mutually beneficial relationships between organizations and their publics. Right? So, what is public relations for most persons looking at the show this evening? I'm going to hear from my team.
Public relation, I would say it is the image portrayed by an organization, if you have to look at it in that aspect, an organization, a company, an entity, the public image, the image that it portrays to the public.
Well, public, naturally, the first thing comes out that stands out to me when you hear the word public is audience, engagement, viewers, right? And so public relations is basically what I would define it as, is basically what any enterprise wants to relay, basically relay to the viewers, the audience, the stakeholders, anybody interested in them, basically.
Right.
And as a result, like wherever you put out, that's whatever you put out on the media, that's basically public relations. And as a result, you use the media. That's one of the most popular forms of public relations.
Like Al-Sakian would have went to Facebook.
We had some examples there.
So some of the main types of public relations are corporate communications, crisis communication. We also have internal communication, social media, multimedia, reputation management, speech writing, brand journalism, and just to name a few, right? I know we're gonna just kind of jump into it. So, how do y'all feel that if most issues can be resolved if public relations played much more of a major role in terms of keeping the society or the end user informed about the topic or the issue within the institution?
I can talk about National Bank because I remember when the whole issue happened.
Shayla said public relations to me is all about promoting an organization or business.
That's all they use it for. That's how they use the media.
But also to address certain issues within the
but all the
institution.
thing with National Bank. You know, I actually...
Whatever the business choose to relay to the public. I think it covers
the thing with National Bank, when the system was down or whatever, all we hearing is that they get robbed, this person who whatever, take $10 from people account and whatever. You know I the bleeder?
To the grapevine.
You know I the bleeder? Think about it. You know I the bleeder for real? Because that's all I hearing all the time. It take like a long time. It take like...
And because it took so long for
them to post something, is like I had no choice but to believe what the people saying on this shit.
You had a choice.
No, that's all I hear. If I wanted to believe something, only one thing I got to believe.
The organization is not contradicting or stopping certain rumors, then yes, you have no choice but to kind of be like, wow, is it true?
Let's ask the question though.
You can ponder
rumors that
you can ponder on the thought of it being true.
Rumors that Forever 21 is shutting down, and that's why they have so many sales. You're gonna believe me. 50% off, 70% off, 80% off. God be the shutting down by, and then setting out nothing. You ain't got a
choice.
I can't say you ain't gonna. I feel like.
But what else you got to believe?
Like making it so broad, but
you have a choice.
You don't want a choice what to believe. No.
You have a choice.
You can ponder. Is the same as?
But that is what is going to come to.
Is the same as?
Yeah, so
I know, knock you out.
I was saying, right, not to drift, but it's the same as rumors, because you might hear Jalanda is such and such, but I do not publicly oppose what he said
but
about me.
You
can come in and.
But you're obligated to.
No, I'm just saying.
You may ponder management. So no, I'm just saying
you may ponder on whether or not it's true, but it does not left me with no other choice but to believe it's true. But that was just me shame. But that was just me giving an example. But
But I mean, you strain. But it's like public. You are not a company. Yeah? Your reputation ain't gonna make the company lose $1 million. Yeah? But it's like their reputation could actually make them lose money.
No, somebody behind the scenes. Big up Valdo one time.
Who near Valdo? Ugly jacket? I want to see this jacket. The man got
go back to your point.
I want to see the jacket.
Go back to your point.
I say like you ain't obligated to drop nothing. Like you ain't gonna say nothing publicly if somebody talking saying
that's not true,
about
guys.
you.
But going back to the National Bank topic, right? I think personally, for most persons, they feel like things should have been addressed in a timely manner. So, for example, the fact that issue happened with National Bank, I think people just wanted to hear something, to have that reassurance.
Exactly.
That's why I think the importance of public relations plays such a major role in society.
So you think that some issues can be easily resolved if better PR?
Yeah, man.
Of course, because it reduces the miscommunication, the spreading of rumors, and also the lack of confidence within the institution.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because now a lot of persons might not have said, but I know a lot of persons were saying they wanted to move their money from National Bank and they wanted to do this and that. All that plays a role in terms of their operations, in terms of their business, as a result of the speculation of what's happening, what's going on. And if you had said something early from the time something happened to say we are currently experiencing an issue and whatever, then you at least calm the person. It's just like jumping on a plane.
So you remember when Wired Bank was charging $20 a month? I don't think that they really sent out any PR, but it was more so word on the street. Wired Bank charging $20 a month for
and I'm moving in business.
But you think if they sent out, hey, they sent a proper communication as to what the $20 fees is for, it would have been less of a
impact
of a
it would have less implications.
But look at Royal Bank today. Most persons don't do business with Royal Bank.
Nobody to do it.
The reason being is because nothing was communicated to the general public, where you would have lost the confidence in the institution.
I lost confidence in National Bank. Meaning and cap.
Really?
Meaning and cap. Me little bit of money and me done for it. Me there. What I mean? Me see me account got $200 and so me ball. Me want to see me. Me panic. I think it's joke.
But yeah.
Yes, we shades them.
I mean, honestly, I feel as though the businesses know the emphasis placed on their public image and the public relations, and I feel as though that's why in most times they're not so forthcoming, because they feel as though they want what they say, the words they put out, to be misconstrued, but at the end of the day, it doesn't make it right. We still need some clarity as a stakeholder. Right, but I feel like that's the biggest thing. Like outside of the National Bank situation, I feel like in any situation, it's just like, okay, yeah, we got to watch what we're gonna pull out, because we want the public
to lose confidence in the institution,
misinterpret this, take this for this, and different people got different level of understanding, and that's how they view it, and that's what stops them from being forthcoming. But you're only hurting yourself.
Exactly.
To be honest,
I disagree in a way, because there are certain things where you have to seriously be careful with what you put out to the public. And I'm not saying that National Bank is one of them. I'm saying that there are certain situations where a crisis may be happening in your institution, but you can't go and tell the public because that will cause even more damage to your institution. So you have to kind of you kind of have to
things only last a week in
saying, for instance, like, you know, people talk about Amazon having bad workplace environment. It's not a good place for you to work in terms of the environment. But Amazon never really publicly address that situation because they don't want the public to be like they don't want it to be an up for you know people easily quickly could.
I think honestly where Ayana is going with that whole conversation, but what I also think is that we live, again, it goes back to my comment earlier, where we live in an information era. And you can't sit down and pretend that people are not going to know and then lead them to speculate. It's better to address it, nip it in the bud, and move on. And also to, like, even with Amazon as a big international company as such, to that magnitude, but I still think they should have said something which will still keep the confidence of its customers.
Because Shayla has a question, it's a bank, they ain't had a plan as to what to say in case of something like that.
Exactly.
But that's where we also have to wonder, and just to add to answer to Shayla's comment, right? To me, does the institution itself even have a public relations officer who would deal with these issues in terms of what they put out on their Facebook page, their professional page and stuff like that?
But I mean, in general, all of them,
if you have to relate it
has the marketing department, and that's the whole of them, from TDC to Skelec to National Bank to different banks. They had the marketing department. So yes, somebody is actually in different positions across the board. Someone
or teams.
Actually, the department is made up of more than one person. They actually have people in place. I think it all goes back to conversing with the head and probably saying, like, you know, taking directive from the head as to what you are able to put out. It's not just based on the department alone, I would assume. But what you were saying?
Like they gotta come to consensus to say, let me say this here.
And it has to go to the board. Do you guys think that
enough?
How do you guys think that crisis management in St. Kitts and Nevis is handled?
We don't have enough crisis.
Poorly.
Things only last a week in St. Kitts, yeah? And I feel like people don't remember that. As in, like, leave it. Like, we leave the whole crisis or whatever happening. People gonna only talk about it for a week or whatever, and then leave it.
And that is why a lot of them they just choose to, like, you know,
leave it, like, to just hush. Exactly.
And back to what I was saying, you know, you have some real personal things that you don't have to really, and I can understand that, but it doesn't mean you must totally neglect your responsibility to inform your stakeholders and the people who is actually people who are doing business with you, like.
Exactly, yeah, that's kind of bad too.
That's like corporate responsibility.
But moral compass.
Unless I was saying, no, why you think we don't handle crisis management properly in public?
I think because we're so quick to bash. Generally, we're just so quick to bash. I mean, look at it right now. I mean, we must commend the Ministry of Health and doing an amazing job keeping us safe a whole year from COVID. But it came with a lot of whiplash. Exactly. A lot of whiplash in terms of people wanted to just, you know what I mean? I remember we went to a lockdown. The lockdown became a big issue. Even also the lockdown, it became other factors in terms of not being able to have a certain level of freedom.
We had the vaccine. We get the vaccine.
The vaccine was because of this. You know what I mean? So it's like, how do you really find that balance from an institutional standpoint to kind of get that buy-in from the general public, who you serve or who is your primary?
And just be witty with them. Just be just be the match. You know, you gotta be.
But I feel like. It's still got importance. Like you saying, like some people being like, so what make we get the vaccine for Dominico? Like that important. I feel like sometimes those questions and those opposing is still essential. Because I mean, like, if I didn't ask you why we get the vaccine for Dominico, it wouldn't have been like, oh, because Dominico XYZ had this kind of linkage with this person or whatever. So I wouldn't have feel the need to say that. But yeah,
I think that
I feel like we briefly mentioned Skelec, but what do you guys think about Skelec? I noticed that as something occurs as it relates to electricity outages, etc., Skellek I would say they quickly respond.
I think
via
that,
the media.
I think that Skellek is in a better position to quickly respond. I think that outages
I mean, not saying they're not in a better position, just saying in general, informing the public, not comparing to national bank.
I think that they're in a better position. I think that it is expected for current to go. It is expected.
I mean, I have to rely on the basis that Skellek serves just a local market and conducts business only locally.
So
National Bank is dealing with international business.
Yes. No, as I said, my question wasn't coming from based in the comparison with National Bank. I was just speaking in general to the PR relations in Skellek in general.
Yeah. That is the good work to me. Others know when come
because, I mean, guess what? As of recent, I could say it has drastically improved because current does go, but before it would have just gone and we just wondering and you call the building and it's maybe the next day, maybe tonight.
Yeah, no, it's a lot better.
Actually communicate.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm saying that not comparing.
I mean, they charge us a lot of money. They should.
Just saying, even the other businesses who may be at a better, let's take the cable.
I think that
it's less confidential stuff. Is more to say. Probably to the wise, the internet is down, you'll be back on. That's saying, I think some businesses could take a page out of their book.
The position of the communication manager, the communication specialist has done an immaculate job. However, I still think that they're in a better position to communicate that to the public because that is their job now. You know, before the person may not have been as versed as the person who is in the position now. So they're able to now communicate and say, okay, let's send out something to the public, X, Y, and Z. But outages.
Or maybe just be the person who is there values the importance of making the public aware. Because I mean, how well versed you could be to inform the public.
I think it's the same argument that we're having, but it goes back to the fact that they're in a position now. Skellek itself as a company have outages. Other companies don't have as frequent mishaps as Skellek would.
That's a point.
You know, if you have to compare it to National Bank don't have certain mishaps unless the ATM is down or unless the card machine is not working, etc.
Water does go fast.
But the water department, something. Water department does be on this thing on.
Water department. Water
department do be on. Water department do be on ZIZ on this show talking about the fact that we are trying to conserve the water. That is why water does go fast, and we're changing the waters in Sandy. We're changing the pipes in Sandy Point. Yeah, man. Water department go fast. Oh, Skellek got a show power talk.
Okay, so then we're going back to the fact that they're doing an awesome job when it comes to the public relations. No, I'm not saying you disagree, but I'm just saying like
Skellek sponsor the show.
I think that Skellek is in a position.
I feel like you're somewhat.
Skellek is in a position.
And then as the producer was telling us, Patrice Harris because she's the manager.
Oh, Harris.
But I'm saying I'm not. Even though
sponsor the show,
it's somewhat feels like you're kind of disputing what they're doing now, kind of finding the flaws in them being
that company is set up to handle those type of things. No, it's not.
But she's saying like they're so frequently messing up, so they need to
know that there are certain mishaps that can occur.
Water got talk show.
Water do be on social media. Water do be on the internet. Water do be on talk show. Water do be on media to talk about the things that happen in the Sandy Point. To talk about the things that the drought that can possibly happen. To talk about certain things. Yeah.
Watch now. Companies out there.
They're trying to cut the water off at like a little after 11 to conserve the water and etc. etc. But when compared to other businesses, I'm not sure about when you compare it to the cable or when you compare it to flow, when you compare it to
there's no communication. And but see, I'm a big up Skellek.
Big up Skellek. Skellek, we're looking at sponsor.
So guys, that was the last topic of the evening.
Let's wrap it up.
I don't know if anybody has anything to add or let's hit on two long time like
talking
and
those are them.
Summarize. Someone told me that we need to summarize because we talk about so many things and we
So
spread
in
so
summary,
fast.
let me say, in
In
summary,
summation.
I think the main thing of our topic this evening was to differentiate between activism and public relations, and also look at it in our own society and how different situations could have been probably handled a lot differently, especially as it related to public relations and also activism, as you know, with Kittitian at CFBC and you know, Nama. Oh, your mom make a comment. What is that?
Oh gosh.
If you conquer
Oh, put back up now my eyes at there.
I don't look up.
Tell them they don't put it back up
I mean,
now.
okay, go ahead, move up.
If you compare electricity PR to water PR, electricity is way ahead. As soon as an outage happens, advise the public immediately.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
I'm sure she's trying really hard. She's new. It's coming.
No, okay.
It's
Not
true.
make it-
Water department coming, man. You can't
The
compare
producer
the
says
two.
to big
You
up
can't
Shayna.
compare the
No,
two.
we compare. Are you comparing the two because you're basic? No, she's saying that they're way ahead, and that's essentially what I ended with. Big up Skellig because they're doing
Yeah,
a
big up
superb
Skellig,
job versus the
definitely.
rest. So that's what she's saying. When she's saying comparing the two, it's because the rest of them
Yeah,
basically
come
are
from
behind.
Right. Big up
Right?
Skellig. Big up.
Jolanda, where you
Even
come
though you
from?
give it, no, what happened in the UK? Yeah, my mother,
Deal.
thanks for me. It was kind of my favorite. No, but says she's just talking the truth.
Mommy, you clearly come from over. You come from over.
So,
As a Lestos.
adding to our list, I think you're pretty much finished, right? And we also highlighted the different channels you can take if you have an issue you want to shed light on. It doesn't have to
always be escalated.
always be an active, extreme
Everything in this area.
protest or
response
response, but you could try the passive approach first, the
before escalating.
respectful passage approach first, and then, you know, if needs be, make some noise.
Period.
Also,
Period.
I think that to summarize, again, I was just summarizing, that we need to be very well informed and well versed as to what we are protesting for or what we are protesting against. And if we have to take second situation with the whole CFBC thing, it's not all the time the thing that get the most light or the things that the news shine the most light on is always correct. So it's us for us to use the different technology to advance ourselves and to educate ourselves
And do our own research.
And do our own. I'm not against the protest. I really love to see young people protesting and standing up for what they believe in, but it has to be the right belief.
I know my summation. I mean, the minority cannot speak.
I can't really say the white believe because you can't.
It's true. Everybody, okay, so everybody believes
the argument. Just
different.
say.
We have to be well informed. Sorry.
I mean, the minority cannot speak for the majority.
Right.
And that's the full stop, that's period. You understand? So I'll just read a sentence from the article. I mean, you know, as young people, it is imperative that we seek the opportunities to be informed and follow the necessary channels for communication before we make decisions or voice our opinions, as it would ensure that the information we disseminate is factual.
Facts.
And that's it, and that's all. Enjoy your night, sleep well.
And before we go, not to add any information, just want to say,
Just on top.
I am happy that we had Saki on. We didn't really hear the views of the opposing party on the media, and tell a friend in case you guys are watching to hear, come on and watch the show to hear the views of the opposing party. It's a nice place for you to get a mouthful. I don't think you're gonna get it anywhere else because he's not gonna give anybody else.
Nobody else.
This is
I move like Prince Harry.
Exclusive.
You got a penny.
Exclusive.
10 million. I take it.
So guys, thanks for tuning
Yeah,
into
man,
the show.
more times.
Follow us, stay up to date. It's theshow.kn on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram. Follow us every Sunday. We're here at 8 p.m. Even if you see us start a little 5 or 10 minutes after, you know, we're only human.
Let's tell you.
Sometimes, you know.
If we start 10 minutes after, let's tell you.
Let's
So,
go.
That's it.
we make mistakes.
Let's
That's it. That's it. Don't even think more anything else. Let's
So,
go.
don't say 8 o'clock come and say, oh, then come, we'll be here. So, see you guys next week.
Bye. Enjoy your week. Blessed. Oh, and a half
Pay
nine.
me 869.
Yeah, that will make the
Who's
beat.
two stroke?
That will make the beat. That will make the beat.
Why would them be called two stroke?
Well, the man ain't three. The
What
man is
is a
two.
two
We
stroke?
still live right
A
now.
two-stroke engine.
Oh.
I think he
know
mean
what a
for a boy.
two-stroke is.
Bang bang. We still
As a
live.
woman,
We still
if
like
you
I can
message
give them
me-
a dance because we've been doing
As a woman, if you message me and you say
Flex
flexing your shades
So
and
make
stuff,
I
and
have
you
it
think
done.
he's a hot bar.
Watch
We
now.
here.
Where the camera? By the gorge. And they showing me.